Hey, Super Scholars. Thanks so much for tackling William Shakespeare's prologue with your first attempt at translating his words into yours. You know, if you struggled a little bit to make sense of what was going on, don't worry. Even though it's written in English, William Shakespeare uses his language a little differently than we use it today. That's why we'll closely read this prologue using a line-by-line analysis. So we're going to reread it, and we're also going to listen to it, and then we're going to hear some examples of analysis over the next few slides. To start, let's look at the prologue in its entirety and get a quick summary of the facts that we can really identify. Then we'll move on to a translation and explanation of each line individually. Move to the next slide and I'll show you what I mean. All right, we've already heard it once, but that first video was pretty action-packed, and you may have been distracted by some of the visuals. Let's read the prologue again while we hear it, okay? Because it's helpful to remember that Shakespeare wrote words that were to be read aloud. Using your Romeo and Juliet prologue analysis document, if you scroll down to the second page, you have the prologue rewritten and you have a place for notes. As you watch this video, read the prologue as it's read to you so you can see the words as well as hear them. Press pause on these video instructions so that you can watch the video and take notes. I'll be here when you get back. All right, welcome back. I hope that gave you a little more insight, mainly by connecting all of your knowledge from last lesson of the plot summary, what went on in the play, because you may begin to see that in this prologue, William Shakespeare is somewhat summarizing his own play even before it begins. The prologue sets the scene for the play by hinting at most of the action to come. So let's break down the lines. As I'm reading these notes, please reference your prologue analysis sheet. You can make note that in the first 4 lines, the setting and the basic conflict are made in the first stanza. So we know it's in Verona, and we know that there's these 2 families that are kind of fighting. You know that already from summarizing the plot last lesson. The next 4-line stanza describes the young lovers and their problem. You know, they got a little bit of a situation because each one of them is from a different family that's fighting. That was referenced in the first 4 lines. The 3rd stanza tells how the family feud will finally end in tragedy and explains the focus of the play. This is kind of important because it tells the audience, before they've even seen the play, before they've read it, the end is going to be a tragedy. It sets you up. Because this story isn't about a twist or surprise ending. This story is seeing how things happen, okay? That's going to play into our essential question, because is it choices leading to other choices that leads to this tragedy, or is it destiny? Is it fate? We'll get to that question a little later, but it's interesting that already in the prologue, we're getting an idea about that. Now, the last 2 lines of the prologue remind the audience that there's more to come. Meaning, even though this was a summary of the action, we didn't find out everything. So it's really worth paying attention to the play as it's acted out on stage. That gives us a little breakdown of the lines, but let's get a little more detailed. Here's another video for you, but this one is going to guide you through an examination of each line of the prologue. While you watch this, continue to take notes on your analysis sheet. You can also, after the video, take a look at the following breakdown of lines. Now, here's a way that I have translated each line of the prologue. However, that's my thinking. I wanted to give you an example, but you are supposed to break down each line into your own words. So, using this example given in the video, also the breakdown that we just went through, you can model after my work your own translation of the prologue. Go ahead and tackle that, and then I'll get more instructions ready for you on the next video.